Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here. Yeah. Emmanuel back from Hawaii.
My dog. Don't act like I was gone that long.
No, you weren't going that long, but you were going that strong. Y'all see that thirst trap picture he put out? 6-pack. What was that for? Tell the truth. Who was it for? The lady?
Get to the show.
All right, let's get started with somebody out there thirsting. The NBA playoffs and the Lakers. Ooh, they did not look like the defending champs on Sunday. Losing game 1 to the Suns, LeBron James scored 18 points, but Anthony Davis only scored 13 points on 5 for 16 shooting. Yuck. After the game, AD put the loss on his back. Take a listen.
I missed a ton of shots. We missed a ton of shots as a team. Scored 90 points, really 87 after that AC3. No way we're winning a game, let alone a series, with me playing the way I play. So, this was on me. I take full responsibility for sure. We'll do that again, too.
Oh, now you take responsibility after the damn game. All right, Otto, are you worried the Lakers are overmatched in this series?
The hell not, ain't overmatched, Sale. Not at all. They were outplayed, but they're not overmatched. Can we make one thing clear, big dog?
I like that.
To be overmatched is to say that the other team is better than the Lakers. Ooh. And as I looked at it, the Lakers bench outscored the Suns bench. So if we want to talk about their benches being at least on par to being equal, then we can do that, right? Let's neutralize those two things. So now you want to tell me, sir, somehow, some way that Ayton, Paul, Booker are better, or any combination outside of a combination that the Brooklyn Nets can provide is better than the Lakers starting lineup when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on the court. No, they were outplayed, but they're not overmatched. Furthermore, Marcellus,
what?
You beat me to a pulp during football season, but not to a pulp. You beat me to intelligence. Meaning, I was so stuck on an idiotic take. The Buccaneers are not going to amount to anything. The Buccaneers are not going to amount to anything. A wise man learns from their own mistakes at times.
Let's go. Let's go.
And last year, after the Lakers lost to the Trailblazers, I, a fool, said this. Shall we? Look at the Lakers depth chart. Look at the Lakers roster. Look at the Trailblazers roster. The Blazers have a better roster. Now, I sounded convincing, but you can be convincingly stupid. And last year, I was convincingly stupid.
That's funny.
The Lakers lost to the Blazers, game 1. I was like, man, the Blazers have a better roster. And what happened? Lakers rolled off 4 straight W's.
Bang.
The Lakers lost to the Rockets by 15. Game 1, semifinals. Man, No. What happened? The Lakers rolled off 4 straight W's. So now the Lakers lose to the Suns by 9 points. I ain't no dummy. I was 29 back then. I'm a strong 30 now. Grown 30. I ain't making them same 29-year-old mistakes. Lakers are not overmatched in this series. They were outplayed for a day, outplayed for a night, but not overmatched.
Big dog, I love you so much, man. First of all, I'm glad to have you back here in mainland America. I know you were in Hawaii. You know why? Because I could tell you didn't watch this game. I could tell you were flying over the Pacific and you just saw the box score. Only down 9, only lost by 9. Oh, God, the Lakers going to be fine. They're not overmatched. Did you watch it? I know you got first-class seats. Did you have that little screen on and watch this game? Man, damn. Lakers overmatched, big dog. But I love your definition of it. I don't want to say that the Phoenix roster is better. I just think it fits better versus what the Lakers are going to pose as a threat. One, LeBron is not LeBron just yet. Be real. Whatever percentage this is of LeBron, 80-some%, that's not full king. AD, in all of his missed games this year, starting to add up, big dog. AD went out there and gave you, 13 points? And people act like, oh, that's okay. It's just game 1. Game 2 may look a little like that as well because Ayton is not playing in terms of not only defensive presence, but offensive production. Okay, so you put up an old video of you looking like some rapper I ain't never seen before, and a little dusty back then. I'm glad you cleaned it up right now. Here's the thing. You did what everyone does in classic response to doing something wrong. You overcorrect. You overcorrect right now in saying, you know what? They're not overmatched. They're fine. Let me tell you why I knew they were overmatched. At halftime, when you saw the Suns have a 8-point lead, and they went into halftime, had no free throws, 0 free throws to the Lakers in the first half, 17. And the Lakers were down 8. I said, oh, wait a minute. And then in terms of turnovers, they were dead even. You've been in there before when you had to give Coach the dead face because he's trying to rile the troops up, but he's lying. You sit there, if you're down 8 and you have not been to the free throw line yet, and you've been to the free throw line 17 times, and you're down 8, and the other team hasn't been just once, you sitting there like, Coach, we need a different calculation, different formula. Something ain't adding up because that team hasn't even got the charity on their side just yet. You finished the game, 28 free throw attempts versus 12. They tried to even it out, and they still didn't do that. This team wins by 9 with only 12 free throws. So keep talking about the production of Devin Booker, 34 points. Keep talking about the lineup and talk about how DeAndre Ayton looked balling out of control, 2010 again for his 10th game of the season. But it ain't even about that. It's about there's still more juice left to squeeze out of the Phoenix Suns, even more juice than with the Lakers.
Here's the problem, Sale, and the problem is this. You're too smart for me to let you off the hook with these utterances. Why do I say that?
Let's go.
So you know as well as anybody in the world, there's a difference between past tense, present tense, and progressive tense.
Yes.
See, progressive tense is something that's happening at the present moment.
I like you.
Past tense is something that happened. If you would have asked me, were the Lakers overmatched? I would have said yes. You asked me, are progressive tense, something that's happening in the present moment. Are the Lakers overmatched? The answer is clearly no. Because to say, are the Lakers overmatched is to say, is Ayton a better player than Anthony Davis? No. Is Devin Booker a better player than LeBron James? No. Was Devin Booker a better player than LeBron James on Sunday? Yes. Was DeAndre Ayton clearly a better player than Anthony Davis and Drummond combined on Sunday? Yes. Ayton gave you 16 boards. Anthony Davis, where were you? Booker gave you 34 points. LeBron James, where were you? So if you want to say, were the Lakers past tense outmatched, I'll give you that. But here's my thing, big dog. You saw just 2 weeks ago, Lakers played the Suns. Anthony Davis had 42, 15, 5 and 5, 42, 12, 5 and 5. Booker had 6, Ayton had 6, if I'm not mistaken. They're not a better player. They're not better players than the Lakers. They played a better game. But again, I'll go back to last year. Game 1, Damian Lillard, he dropped 34. LeBron and AD had 20 and 20. Damian Lillard's not a better player than AD and LeBron. But after one game, you could have thought so. Go back to the Rockets. Game 1, semifinals, Lakers, last year. Harden had 34. Westbrook had 25. Anthony Davis had like 21. LeBron had 20. Harden and Westbrook outplayed LeBron and AD for a game. They're not better players. It's the same thing we saw right now. Don't make the mistake I made, Sel.
Okay.
I was willing to humble myself and listen to you after the Buccaneers
Oh,
tape.
you humble now.
I think it's time, sir, that you do the same.
I need to humble myself.
And listen to my take.
Listen to you? All right, I'm going to be humble now, finally. Like Steven Jackson, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dog Stacks. Come on, man. Apologize, damn it. All right, here we go. Marcellus, I keep hearing stuff that just adds to my notes. I only got 2 pages today. I'm working on it. You know, the bosses say I got too many damn notes. I was like, I got too many damn quotes, too, on top of notes. But let's talk about what you brought up, which is not going to help your cause at all. You say that the roster is better than the roster of Phoenix, the Lakers roster. Duh. How about this? Let's personalize it. Let's pull at your heartstrings. Acho, I think you were better than some players that you were drafted in front of. Duh. But how about this? I think you were probably better than some players that were drafted before you. But that hamstring, what happened? Quad. What happened during the combine again?
Tore my quad completely off the bone.
You tore your quad completely off the bone. So you weren't Emmanuel Acho. You were more Emmanuel Ouch. Right. Ouch. Okay. So what does that mean in terms of performance? Compromise. That's all I'm talking about right now. When we progressive, present, future, whatever the hell you want to say. This team is compromised. LeBron James is not at full 100% strength. Anthony Davis is maybe not even at 75%. Tendinosis, the ankle bone connected to the knee bone, everything. Like, he is literally walking around right now trying to piece it all together. So what happens a lot of times when you were coming back from injury, you respond from injury, you can have a blip. You could have a moment and everyone's like, see, he's back. But as you know this by being a former athlete, it's the consistency that tells you you're back. Anthony Davis has been inconsistent in his return. Here's the problem. In basketball terms, I only played 1 year of basketball in 1 day. I played 1 year when I was 8 years old, and I played 1 day in high school because I was the man in high school football. They're like, just come rebound. Got out there, everybody was 6'8". I said, nah, dog. I can't jump that high. Them dudes ain't even jumping getting the rebound over me. Here's the thing. They teach you something called the double rebound, the tip rebound. So to see explosiveness, it's not about getting a rebound. It's who can land and jump again, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what Anthony Davis can't do right now. He could get the first one. He could show you full effort and get 42 points one game. But then what's the next game going to look like? What's this game going to look like? 13 points. Anthony Davis, until he can stabilize himself, DeAndre Ayton is going to eat off of Anthony Davis. This is a compromised roster that has issues that we already addressed. People call me a hater because I say stuff too early. And people are like, you just hating. I'm like, no, just keep watching. It's going to happen. I told you that the Lakers don't shoot well enough from the three-point percentage so they can advance. Lakers finished this season ranked 21st in the league in three-pointers, 10th in the West alone. Last game, 27% from the three. Everybody say, oh, they're going to shoot better. How much better? They're only 21st in the league. You look at this percentage, that's not going to cut it. Got out-rebounded, 47-33. Oh, man, they tall. They're going to get all the rebounds. Are they? They're compromised. Lakers have lost 17 of their last 19 games when they've been out-rebounded, 10 of 11 in the Western Conference alone. All I'm saying is this is actually going as advertised. The number 2 seed looks better than the number 7 seed.
That's not the case. Let's break it down. We spent all this time talking, but let me get to the crux of the real issue.
What?
The issue is this. Anthony Davis picks and chooses when he wants to be elite, and LeBron James picks and chooses when he wants to be elite, but LeBron James does it in a calculated fashion.
Let's go.
Anthony Davis, remember, every series last year except for one against the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Davis had one game in that series where he only scored in the teens. He had one game. Okay. Against the Trailblazers, he only scored in the teens in Game 4. Against the Clippers, he only scored in the teens again in Game 4. Against the Heat, he only scored in the teens in Game 3. Anthony Davis, he picks and chooses when he wants to dominate. LeBron James picks and chooses as well, but he does so calculated. Still, you've been the upperclassman on a team before. If y'all are watching and y'all played sports, y'all also have. Now, when you're the upperclassman on a team, your coach will typically say you need to finish the workouts in first. If we're running sprint races, you need to cross the line in first.
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Now, as an upperclassman, you understand this. If I have to finish every sprint drill in first place, that means I also have to finish the last drill in first place. So I have to have enough energy, conserve enough energy, not for the first rep, but I got to conserve enough energy for the 7th rep. Because come the 7th rep, there's going to be some underclassman who goes all out. And when he goes all out on that 2nd rep, on that 7th rep, do I have enough energy to still beat him then? LeBron James is like, come Game 7.
Okay.
Do I have enough energy to still beat y'all when y'all really going all out? LeBron James is just conserving energy. He's always done that the last several years since he's gotten older. He's just kind of calculating, okay, can we beat the Suns without me going all out? Okay, we lose by 9 with me not going all out. Okay, let me give it a little bit more and see if we can beat them without going, okay, dang, we can't. Okay, let me give it a little bit more. LeBron James is calculated with his conservation. Anthony Davis, I think he just kind of picks and chooses. Again, last year it happened, big dog.
Yes.
He only gave you 18 points. He only gave you 13 points. He only gave you 15 points. It happens to AD all the time. LeBron James, though, he is that upperclassman, which we all have been. He's gauging, how much energy does it take for me to win this rep? Okay, I got to give you a little bit more. Bet. I'm going to give you a little bit more.
I like that part. I like that part because it is a mental calculation. You're right. LeBron James, they've clocked him in terms of mileage on the court, speedometer in terms of him and pace on the court, where he, at one time in the playoffs, I think this was 3 years ago, he had the 2nd slowest of any player. And we know damn well that locomotive can move faster than the 2nd slowest, but it was calculated. Here's the problem. You could be miscalculated in your own calculations. I know one thing from being the old dog on the team before, that when I'm mindful of the end, when I'm starting, that means I'm old. And then chasing these jackrabbits, they ain't thinking about the end. They're just thinking about right now, eating. And LeBron James sitting there with Anthony Davis are a little too mindful of how this is going to play out instead of just pouring it all in to this moment. Here's the thing. They're trying to outsize him with Drummond as well. You try to outsize him, but you can't out-rebound him? That's a bad statistic. Here we go again. You're trying to bully him up, and you're getting all the free throw attempts. But guess what? That team beats you by 9 without that amount of free throw attempts. So when you get into a conversation, you just talk about everything doesn't add up. The mental calculation, the fact that this team had fewer free throws and still beat y'all, the fact that this team out-rebounded y'all, and y'all a bigger team. If Ayton is on this game, he's going to neutralize them in terms of the bigs, and it's going to be a problem. CP3 had a stinger, bro. He thought it was his shoulder because he don't play football. It was a number of stinger. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, you got that. For people at home, y'all never had a stinger? It's called temporary paralysis. From here to your fingertips, it ain't working. And you're like, all right. CP3 was shooting threes under the rim. He couldn't understand. He couldn't even dribble. But the point is, he'll be fine. You notice, it's easier to reoccur, but you'll be fine in the interim. All that adds up to another Phoenix Suns victory. We'll see. Coming up, Tim Tebow. Tebow is on the Jaguars roster. But we'll tell you why they signed the former quarterback turned tight end. But first, the Nets' big three impressed in their first playoff win. We'll tell you just how big of a statement they made. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Now let's head to Brooklyn. The Nets big three have only played in 9 games together this season, but they took care of the Celtics in game 1 Saturday. Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving combined for 82 points, the same as Kobe Bryant and Kwame Brown in their playoff debut. We're joined by my guy, my favorite, NBA analyst Slick Rick the Bucher. But, Sal, you up first.
Yes, sir.
How big of a statement did the Nets big three make in game 1?
Inside joke right here. The way you just did this read, that's your mulligan. I mean, y'all ain't gonna never get that, but just to let you know, me and Nacho really cool up here. How big of a statement did the big three make?
Yes, sir.
A big statement. Oh, God. Sometimes in this world, man, you can feel alone just because you're sitting there and you're like, why doesn't anyone out there echo what I'm saying? Why isn't there a larger chorus of what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Because from day one, when they put this big three together, I say, oh, it's a wrap in the East. Good luck to all the other teams out there. It's simple mathematics. Did y'all skip math class? Because when I was growing up, only 2 types of people skip math class. The ones that were hella smart or the ones that were hella dumb. Which one are you? Because if you can't add up James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD and hit the equal button. Yeah, that's on the calculator as well. Hit the equal button and realize ain't nobody else going to be able to do that. Where were you? And what basketball have you been watching? Let me tell you about what James Harden is, because what has happened here is an emotional Tetris that fits perfectly together. Yeah, I know you like that one. Here we go. They're all with 2 other guys. So if you're KD, you were 2 other guys in terms of James Harden and Kyrie that get it. Everybody gets it in terms of this big three. No one is going off in rogue in their own direction, trying to make sure they get the credit. These are all 3 guys that went through the highs and lows of their greatness. Disparaged, people talking about them out their name and their game, and they're all all-time greats. So when you got James Harden, no one thought they were going to see this version of James Harden from day one when he was drafted. Be real. No one thought that they would even see this version of Kyrie Irving. Most skilled basketball player potentially ever. We thought high of Kyrie, but this level. And KD, who came into the league with the most talent. But even KD, with all that talent and all that greatness, walked onto a team with a championship already and a 2-time MVP and almost sunned that guy in Steph Curry in terms of how great KD is. He made him take a backseat as he won 2 finals MVPs. You add those 3 elements together in a situation like this where they're all trying to prove the same thing and pulling in the same direction, oh, nothing but big statements from the big three.
Low-hanging fruit, Sal, low-hanging fruit. It wasn't a big statement. It was a expected statement. It was a necessary statement. We all have social medias, and we've all seen it. When a player that is a part of a team does something stupid, what happens next? The team makes a statement. We do not condone the actions of ex-athlete. We stand for equality, justice, and et cetera, et cetera. It ain't a big statement, Sal.
Okay.
It's the statement that was expected and that was necessary. Now, I will give the Nets their applause. I will give them their kudos. They scored 82 points between the big three, and the Celtics only scored 93. That's 88%. If they would have played the big three, the Celtics' whole roster, they would have only won that game by 11 points. I'll give them their praise. Furthermore, I'll give them their praise because they showed up game 1. You saw AD, LeBron. Them boys ain't really show up. They also went 25 of 27, the big three from the stripe. You saw LeBron miss pivotal free throws. Kawhi missed pivotal free throws. Giannis got a 10-second violation during pivotal free throws. Meanwhile, the big three, they handled their business. But To your point, so I look at it like this. We knew the Nets had several individual greats. We assumed that if you put all those individual greats together, it would make a collective great. But we still had to see it. I think back to DJ Khaled. You know how he always be
Another one.
some greats. Another one. Remember, he put Lil Wayne, Chance, Bieber, and Quavo all on the track. And I was like, Bieber got some bangers. Wayne got some bangers. Chance got some bangers. But how they all gonna sound together? And then DJ Khaled just gave us that hit, I'm the One, of 3 years back. So with that being said, yes, Sal, I know Harden, I know KD, I know Kyrie. They all have bangers individually, but we had to find out how were they going to play together come the playoffs, and they did just that. They made an expected statement.
You guys are pranking me, right?
What else?
The next lap, you're all going to say, hey, we were just kidding. We know that game one win, actually playing one half of good basketball, doesn't mean anything in the big picture. We're going to get there, right? And if we're not going to get there, I'm going to take you there. Because I cannot say that any statement was made by a Brooklyn Nets offense that scored 104 points when it averages 118, shot 41%, and shot 8 for 34 from three-point range against the 14th ranked defense in the league. I mean, what are we talking about? We're not just judging the individual stats of the Big Three. We're judging how the Big Three lead this offense and their defense. And, maybe that's the statement you guys think was made because they held the Boston Celtics to 93 points. You know who else held the Boston Celtics to 93 points just 10 days ago? The Cleveland Cavaliers held them to 93 points just 10 days ago. In their last 7 games, they were held under 100 points 3 times, 13 times this season. The Boston Celtics offense has not showed up. So to take one, and the other part is their defensive energy came from their offense. Their offense was non-existent in the first half, and so was their defense. When they started hitting shots, now they got enthusiastic at the under end of the floor. That is not championship caliber defense. And so if we're talking about the Nets coming out of the East, I don't see how any statement was made based on what they did for 2 quarters against the sad sack 36-36 Boston Celtics.
Here's why it means something to me, Slick, and I told you it was expected. I don't think it was big, but it means something to me for this reason. All greats don't show up all the time.
Oh.
And I'm starting to realize that in basketball, right? Coming over from football where you only have 16 games, and in order to win a Super Bowl, you have to win and only need to win 4. If you have a bye, you only need to win 3, but you have to win 3. Every single game matters. I've learned, you've taught me, Broussard's taught me, watching the game has taught me that basketball is different. You can take days off in the regular season. Even in the playoffs, you can take days off. Slick, I am baffled at the thought that Anthony Davis could go out there and only score, 13 or so points. I'm baffled at the thought that LeBron James, the greatest player in basketball, can go out there and only score 18 points. But then I'm reminded of what Slick told me, that some players, they don't play all the time. So knowing that PG and Kawhi Leonard, all other superstars, didn't go out there and ball out, knowing that AD and LeBron James didn't necessarily go out there and ball out, knowing that Giannis, 2-time MVP, could not hit a free throw to save his life when it mattered.
Ooh.
And then I look at the Nets' big 3. KD gave you 32. Kyrie gave you 29. James Harden gave you 21 and 10. And I'm like, wait a second. I look at all the other superstars, and they didn't all show up. Their game ones. Then I look at the Nets' 3 superstars, and every single one of the 3 showed up in a major way. Showed up playing a game and showed up hitting free throws, which the collection of superstars across the rest of the league playing in the other playoff games did not do. So, Slick, the old me would have scoffed at what the big 3 did. It's just a playoff game, not a big deal. But then as a Lakers fan, I'm looking like, dang, They couldn't get LeBron and AD to show up. So kudos to the Brooklyn Nets, big three, for all three of them showing up and showing out.
I love the fact that you want to thank everybody, but not thank the dude you talk to the most. I mean, I ain't rub off on you any with my basketball knowledge. Too much Clipper talk for you? What the hell are you talking about? I got to do that more? Thank you, Acho, for nothing. Let's talk about the fact that I think this was a huge statement. Forget big. Let's go bigger than big. Huge statement. Why? One, as athletes, we all know we can't lie to ourselves. This is what coaches struggle with. Why do we practice more than we play? Because we're trying to learn good habits so we can rely on those good habits in them game situations. No matter what is thrown at you in terms of adversity, score, whatever the flow of the game is, you will lean on good habits. Coaches try to break through and try to dictate terms, try to dictate what you're feeling in circumstances, at least emotionally. Coaches would yell at you, hey, man, we need to go out there and do this. We need to go out here and take advantage of this moment right here. But players sitting there, a lot of times dead-faced, like, you can't lie to me. So the Brooklyn Nets get on the court with the Boston Celtics. 36-36 Boston Celtics. They can't lie to themselves. They know they're going to smoke these boys. So what happens? Boston Celtics go out there and ball out in the first half, up 6. Brooklyn Nets go into the locker room, halftime, say, all right, guys, we lied to ourselves. They're going to be a little better than 36-36. You know what happened in the third quarter? 18-4 run. For those who are mathematically challenged, that's 14 more points than them. All of a sudden, you blink, they're up. That's called hitting the gas pedal on your ass. That's called hitting a switch that everyone fears that a big three team would do. They're going to just walk into games and not even take them seriously. And then one time you're going to try and hit the switch and it doesn't work. No, that switch works. This switch worked. You saw the first half disparity and the second half. 10 more points in the second half than the first half. 8 turnovers in the first half, only 3 in the second half. So this is why this is such a huge win. Because this team, when they play better competition, won't even have to lie to themselves. They gonna know that this team is coming. And what teams are those? Slick. The Bucks went to overtime.
You are talking story rather than math. You're telling me about the dynamics of this team. I know you're giving me numbers, but it's not really math because here are a couple other numbers.
Okay.
You've got the 2nd seed playing the 7th seed.
Yeah.
If they should dominate. And it's also a 2nd seed that has never proved anything. They have not proved anything collectively. To your point, Acho, and I don't know if you were like this as an athlete, as a professional athlete, Acho, but I know Marcellus was because I've read the book and I've heard the stories, and I know that Marcellus worked as hard as he needed to work to get what he wanted. And the second he thought, I don't have to work because I'm in a good place, the work stopped. That's what the Los Angeles Lakers are. How many times have they lost a first-round game in a series? They're not nervous. Look, let's see if we can steal one. They didn't steal one. Now they're going to have to bring it different. Whether they can or not is a question for another segment. But the bottom line is they're the defending champions. They've already demonstrated that they're capable of doing what they need to do to win a series, no matter how it starts. The Brooklyn Nets, on the other hand, you guys mentioned it. Everybody's questioning, what are they going to be like in the playoffs? What are they going to be like when they play together? So they came into this game with something to prove against a team that they should dominate. And in spite of that, it took them an entire half to get there to finally get it rolling. And it only got rolling because their offense started to get rolling against the 14th ranked defense in the league. Come on, guys. Look.
What?
My bar is a lot higher when it comes to championship caliber teams, offense or defense, than what I saw from the Brooklyn Nets against the, may I say it again, the sad sack Boston Celtics.
You know what? I don't like that. I don't like when people use one of your attributes against you and make it seem like it's not good. It's a slight. Like, they use their offense. Well, what else we going to use? We only got offense and defense. I pick one, and that's the one we're better at. And then, of course, that's going to galvanize us. That's crazy. Slick, here's where I got to cut you. That was, what, their 8th game together? And it took them an entire half against a playoff team. This ain't the regular season. This is a playoff team. Forget the records. They're out the door. This is a playoff team, Boston Celtics. That went out there.
Playoff team. Play-in playoff.
Yeah, like the Lakers. But the same point is, 8th game together, it took you a half. All right, I'm going to use you against you. Use your words to choke you out. In the first half, we saw the Brooklyn Nets only have 47 points, right? And you're sitting there like, that's horrible. That's horrible. You know what? If they would have just done what they did in the first half, they still would have won this game 94-93. How you like that math, since you say I don't use math? But they didn't. They went out there and scored 57, and they beat these dudes. They actually beat them by 11. Oh, that's 1 point. Here's another point. I don't know if you were trying to give me a compliment or not by reading my book and talking about my career, damn it. But I only go 100%. Now, 101%, a lot of players go up there and say they do that. 110%, they lying. They lying their ass off. It's only 100%. That's all you do. I'm not coming to the show early, but I'm never going to be late. That's it. Here we go. I'm going to talk to you in track terms. I need to see your face because I know Slick ain't feeling my track terms like you are. In track, well, not like him, because that's my dog, and he likes track more than you, Slick. Stop lying. So here's the thing. In track, when you talk about a relay, sprint relay in particular, 4x100. See, Slick, you didn't even know what that was. And when we talk about a relay team, you get 4 guys. A lot of people make this mistake. They only want the 4 fastest guys. But when you get to the top level, you also got to get the disciplined guys who give you the cleanest exchanges.
That's true.
The baton has to move. That's why we see teams like USA and Jamaica always going to be faster than everybody else. But then you'll see a China, a Japan, a Germany, that won't Great Britain. They don't even have the fastest guys, but they got the cleanest exchanges. That baton keeps moving. Here's what you don't understand about this big three. They're working together in this emotional Tetris. They are fitting perfectly together. That baton will keep moving. And here's the kicker. They're also the best big three that we have in the game today. Oh, it's going to be a problem. Coming up, will Julio Jones be leaving the Falcons for a team like the Patriots? We'll tell you if he should want out of Atlanta next on Speak for Yourself. The fastest and Thursday, pro football continues with a spring league doubleheader on FS1. First, catch the Conquerors as they take on the Linemen. Then watch the Alphas battle the Aviators. All kicks off Thursday at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Let's head to Atlanta. Ooh, cheap living. Where all signs are pointing to Julio Jones possibly not playing for the Falcons this season. Now we're hearing about potential destinations. Reports say that the Patriots have had internal discussions about the 7-time Pro Bowler, while the 49ers and Ravens have also been mentioned as possible landing spots. So, Acho, should Julio want out of Atlanta?
Absolutely not. Julio Jones, big dog. For the sake of your personal career, you need to stay in Atlanta. Let me remind Julio, but let me also remind everybody else in the world. Since Matt Ryan, Julio Jones' quarterback, entered the league, Matt Ryan leads the league in passing yards amongst active quarterbacks. Matt Ryan is thrown for the most yards of any other quarterback that is currently playing the game since he entered the league. Julio Jones, over that 6-year stretch, 2014 to 2019, no receiver in NFL history had as many yards as you did, 9,388. So individually, you and Matt Ryan quite literally were the best combination statistically the game of football has ever seen. Individually. Julio Jones, the grass is not greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it, big dog. So if you want to continue having the individual career that you have had, which has statistically literally trumped every other receiver in history over that 6-year period, why in the world would you want to leave? It is not going to get much better individually than you and Matt Ryan. So should Julio Jones want out of Atlanta from an individual perspective? Absolutely not. We can talk about the collective perspective later, but from an individual perspective, it don't make no sense.
Beautiful thing about doing this show with you, let's call it the eye in the eye. We will lead with intelligence, and you just did that. So let me give you the other eye, improv. I'm about to just go off the cuff. The hell? I loved everything you said, so I'm not going to say it again, because if at home you're watching this, you're like, he just said that. So, yeah. You should stay still and chill if you're Julio Jones, if you're trying to be selfish about this. But the way legacies work, and I hear this from all the Hall of Famers that I played with and all the greats that I played with, is kind of the best way to illustrate it is how a maze looks. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I used to love those little mazes, the little books where you just grab the pencil, not pen, because you're going to mess up, and you just try to find your way to the outlet of the maze. Now, Selfishly, you got to go get your numbers. Julio already checked that box. There's another way out this maze. You already
Go there.
Man,
Yes, sir.
Man, look, if you don't have a ring, you ain't got a thing to some of these people out there. They gonna look at his resume and say, empty calories. That was cute. Literally, Julio Jones will go down as physical specimen.
Yes, sir.
Highly skilled.
Yes, sir.
Tremendous production.
Yes, sir.
And empty, because there will be a Julian Edelman sitting there with all them damn rings and a Super Bowl MVP, and people say, whoa, are they the same? And from no distance should you ever have that comparison.
Fair.
So if I'm Julio Jones, or at least in this camp, it's time to improv, bro. It's time to say, what's these destinations look like? 49ers? Nah, B, can't go there. Why? Too much of a roll of the dice. I love Jimmy GQ. Not everyone does. And what if he gets hurt? Then Trey Lance is in the building. I don't know what Trey Lance is yet. Julio Jones doesn't know what he is yet. And I'm not putting my career on the line for a guy I don't know about yet. Let's look at the Baltimore Ravens. God, this would be the one. Lamar Jackson needs to get over the hump. Stop saying he can't pass when he led the league in passing touchdowns. Also, he can extend plays with his legs. Third most total touchdowns to start a career in NFL history. Or Patriots. Patriots. Okay, we're going to fight now. Let's talk about Cam Newton, best deep ball thrower in the game. Now, I said it on the call before, and I'm going to say it again. He only threw 3 of them, but them 3 were beautiful. No, by percentage, he's a better deep ball thrower, at least last year, than even Russell Wilson, who's the best in the game in throwing a deep pass. But also, highest touchdown percentage of any quarterback in the game. That rushing touchdowns equaled his rookie year, can still extend plays. Why does all that matter? You bring all of those attributes with Julio Jones now on the field, with Bill Belichick coaching back for his perception. Oh, my God, those situations, Baltimore and especially the Patriots, if I'm leaving, I'm going there.
Bump intelligence, let's improv together, shall we? First off, you made it sound like Julio Jones will have a very Terrell Owens. Terrell or Terrell?
Both.
Okay. A very Terrell Owens type of career.
Terrell.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing, big dog. Because when you look at T.O., he got to a Super Bowl, played against the Patriots, balled out in that Super Bowl, didn't necessarily win. Julio Jones got to a Super Bowl, played against the Patriots, didn't necessarily win. Now, with that being said, just because he doesn't win a ring as a wide receiver, I think we grant receivers a little bit more grace. Look no further than T.O. But even still, Sel, when you want to go chase a ring, Julio, chase that ring if you want to. Ain't no guarantee you're going to catch it. Because the Baltimore Ravens, the reason I don't like that, first-round pick this past year, wide receiver Rashad Bateman. First-round pick 2 years ago, wide receiver Hollywood Brown. Fourth-round pick, a wide receiver this year, Tylan Wallace. Would have been probably a second-round pick if he didn't tear his ACL. So you can't go to Baltimore. They already crowded in their receiver room. Okay, what?
Like he can't beat him out? Don't do that.
You can, but at the point in which you just drafted a first-round pick, a wide receiver, another first-round pick, a wide receiver 2 drafts ago, do you really want to bring in Julio Jones? And now what about all the draft capital you just expended it?
Lamar is driving. You know this. We still big kids. Don't act like this, Acho. I know you just turned 30, but you're still a big-ass kid like me. Soon as we about to go on a road trip, if you ain't driving, what you say? Shotgun. Guess what? If Lamar Jackson is sitting here as the driver of this damn team, who is shotgun? You think that Hollywood Brown? You think Rashad Bateman?
I'm saying is
that's Julio's seat.
What I'm saying is
this, one screaming shotgun.
If I just bought me a new, say I just bought me a new Bentley, because I had the old dusty one, according to Marcellus. Say I just bought me a new Bentley, and then I show up to work on Monday, and you're like, Acho, man, congrats on the big birthday, big dog. I just gifted you a Rolls Royce. I'd be like, thanks, but I got this Bentley. Now, I'm not mad at the Rolls, because I'm going to push the Rolls, obviously.
I'm going to sell that shit.
But, like, it's not very good timing, because I just got a Bentley.
Who's the Bentley, though?
I'm saying Rashad Bateman's a first-round pick. Hollywood Brown, the
That's me
first-round
still
pick.
scrolling, looking at cars.
They might not be Bentleys by production, but they
Hollywood
Bentley by value. Because you paid the price for it. You paid the first-round picks for it. So I can't say that they Bentleys by production, but they definitely Bentleys by value.
Okay.
But let's get to the Patriots.
This is you.
Let's get to Cam Newton. With all due respect, because what I have learned in life is you have to preface your most disrespectful comments with all due respect. So with all due respect, Sal, you do realize that Julio Jones' last 4 healthy seasons, he had more receiving yards than Cam Newton's top 2 wide receivers combined. Ooh. God. You do realize that in 2014, Cam Newton had more receiving yards than Kelvin Benjamin and Cottrey. You do realize that in 2017, Julio Jones individually had more receiving yards than Devin Funchess and Benjamin. You do realize that the last 4 times Julio Jones has been healthy, he's had more receiving yards than Cam Newton's top 2 receivers combined. So why in God's name would Julio Jones want to go from the 3rd best team in the division, the Atlanta Falcons, better than the Carolina Panthers, to the 3rd best team in the division, the New England Patriots, worse than the Buffalo Bills and currently the Miami Dolphins? Why would you want to make a lateral move? Why would you want to go from Matt Ryan, who may not be the quarterback Cam Newton is in his peak, although Matt Ryan has an MVP, Cam Newton has an MVP, Matt Ryan does more with his arms, Cam Newton does more with his legs. Why would you want to make a lateral move? The Patriots don't make no sense. The team, I will say, and sprinkle you with a little bit, and I can expound on it if I must, the Tennessee Titans.
What?
They just lost Corey Davis at wide receiver. They still have A.J. Brown on one side. Now you got Julio Jones on the other side. You got Derrick Henry in the backfield, and you actually have a top 5 quarterback by all statistical metrics in Ryan Tannehill at the quarterback position, and you have a head coach who understands the game of football collectively. That's the team that makes sense. I would have said the Colts, but I don't know about Carson Wentz yet. But if you actually want to make some noise on the team,
I do.
The Tennessee Titans.
I know about Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz knows about Carson Wentz. Julio will go there and say, I'm signing a 1-game deal. If this sucker is still the same dude from 2020, I'm out of here. And they will have to let him do it. Acho, I love you so much, man. But sometimes, you know, I don't think you just respect the old school. I don't think you respect the old ways. I don't think you respect, and you're a Bible thumper like me. You're like, we read that. Did you read it cover to cover?
I think I skipped Amos. And Leviticus, I ain't gonna front.
Okay, I skipped the whole Old Testament. Since we up here lying. All right, here we go. Let me be real. In real estate, where do you live? Beverly Hills adjacent. Right there, right? But you know what? In real estate, the first thing they tell you, and they tell you it 3 times, but it's only the same thing. When you buy real estate, really focus in on one thing, and they're going to say it 3 times. Location, location, location.
Yes, sir.
You could diss the Patriots right now. It could be an old, dusty teardown. But where is it? Foxborough. Why is that valuable? Belichick. Why is that valuable? Dynasty. Why is that valuable? Culture. Bill Belichick coached the hell out of that team to 7 wins. Be real, dog. If you were on that team and I would text you, I was like, Acho, what you got? Nothing. And you went out there and won 7 games, this close to winning 11 games without anything resembling Julio Jones. Cam Newton, 21 total touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. Cam Newton with Julio Jones, presence alone, he's going to light it up. And my only other point I want you to push back on is, as much as I love Julio Jones, he ain't T.O. yet. He's not T.O.
Yet.
I know he got the numbers that's going to climb and keep climbing, but T.O. left the game number 3 all time, if not number 2 all time. Julio's going to need something else to get into that conversation, that tier. Being real.
That's fair.
I mean, he's going to get the numbers that's going to get up there, and people going to look, and I just don't think they squint their eyes and give him the same respect they would give T.O.
I'm with you there, and let's end it here. If you're Julio Jones and you are statistically in a great situation, if you're going to forego a statistically great situation, then you got to go somewhere that's collectively a great situation. Not a good, maybe great situation, but it would have to be a Baltimore. I don't like Baltimore, but you would have to go somewhere where you already in contention for a Super Bowl. Patriots, you're not sure you're in contention right now. Not like with Baltimore.
No, you're
You can't go to KC because they set.
No.
You can't go to Buffalo, they set. So, like, who else in the AFC?
That's ring chasing, too. It almost feels like a little...
Who else in the AFC is in perfect contention? But still, we've seen great receivers ring chase. Randy Moss, Patriots, 2007. We've seen it didn't work. So it's almost like, Julio, chase the ring if you want to, but it's no guarantee. Why don't you just stay, keep balling, and see how it shakes out?
You talking about somebody else's legacy. You're writing checks that you ain't got to cash. True. When he goes down and people are like, I don't know if Julio was that good, you'd be like, what the hell? Just because he didn't go in that pursuit of a ring. Coming up, my Clippers. Yeah. We took an L. So what? It was game 1, that's all. But we'll tell you if we're more concerned for them or the Lakers? That's next on Speak for Yourself. Spicy chicken sandwiches. Oh, you're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley, Emmanuel Acho with that Mount Rushmore take right there. Let's stay right here in L.A. for the NBA playoffs. Both L.A. teams took an L over the weekend. My Clippers lost game 1 to the Mavericks behind a 31-point triple-double from Luka Doncic. Other LA squad, the Lakers lost their game 1 matchup to the Suns with LeBron and Anthony Davis combining for only 31 points. Sacho, are you more concerned about my Clippers or the Lakers?
Big dog, I'm more concerned about your squad. I'm more concerned about the Clippers because there's a quote that you're going to love because you're a man who lives on quotes.
Yes.
You don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your level of training. You don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your level of training. So for y'all at home, you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your law of averages. And on average, the Clippers performed how they always performed, and the Mavericks performed how their stars always performed, and the Mavericks won the game. What do I mean by that? Luka the Don, during the regular season, you'll see, he averaged against the Clippers nearly a 30-point triple-double. Regular season, he gave you 30, he gave you 8, he gave you 11. Against the Clippers, game 1, he gave you 31, he gave you 10, he gave you 11. Luka didn't rise to the occasion in game 1. He just sunk to his level of training. On the flip side, the Clippers star players, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary in the regular season. Y'all look at it. Look at Kawhi and look at PG. Regular season, that man, the Claw, Kawhi, he averages 24, 6, and 5. He gave you 26, 10, and 5. Look at PG, regular season. He averages 23, 6, and 5. He gave you 23, 6, and 5. So, if we know that you don't rise to the occasion, but rather you sink to your level of training, what we saw was Luka play how he plays on average, and the 2-star players for the Clippers play how they play on average, and the Mavericks won the game. So the Clippers are in much more trouble than the Lakers because just on average, the Maverick star is better than the Clippers stars. No trouble for your squad, big dog.
Oh, man. Acho, you know I love you too much for you to come and take a shot at me and my squad right there. But it's okay. I know you needed a whole big board, the whole entire studio. Hey, what you want, the whole lot? You want to go next door to the Simpsons to get some more ammo to take a shot at me? You know damn well you are more concerned about the Lakers. Let me tell you why. This is the simplest way to answer these kind of debates. Look at me, clean shaven, right? Not from the barbershop. I don't go to barbershops. One, I ain't got 3 hours to get some dude to cut my hair, be on his phone, talking to his ex about what he gonna do later. Let me get in and let me get out. So I finally realized I don't need to be in the barbershop. But Acho, I'm gonna put you in the barbershop with me right now. I need to see you on camera, homeboy. Get out the Simpsons lot and get back on camera over here since you're taking shots. Here's the thing. Let's ask the simple question. Which squad would you rather be and facing the adversity that they're facing, the Clippers or the Lakers? We all know the answer. Rather be the Clippers facing the Mavericks than right now be the banged-up Lakers facing these young gunners in Phoenix. Let me tell you how this sounds to me right now. You sound like all the Laker fans that I run across in the streets, always talking trash to me online. Hey, Marcellus this, Marcellus this. And when I see him, hey, Marcellus, I love you. You want a drink? I'm like, I'm right here now. I tell you, ain't no big board to separate us. Let's talk this real right here. In all seriousness, I got to do this the right way. Now, I don't even know if I should say this story, but that means you're going to say it, because if you bring it up on air, why the hell are you bringing it up? Let me just say this. I was leaving the game. I went to the Clippers game, defeated, bottom lip dragging on the floor, and I saw Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson on the other side. We bang over here a different color than they bang over there, right? But respect, peace treaty. So I walked up to Richard, my homeboy. I said, what's up, Richard? I said, what happened, man? He's like, trust me, Marcellus, you're fine. I said, I know I'm fine, but I want to hear it. Echo what I'm feeling right now. Echo what I'm thinking. He's like, they hit every three they could take, and y'all missed all your threes. Y'all play that same defense and then law of averages. Y'all just go out there and play your normal game. You guys will be fine. That wasn't my D-block tape. That's Richard Jefferson's. I just stole it from another network and just said it right here. He called the game. I'm supposed to trust in you, Acho? He thinks that the Clippers will be fine, but you don't. Make it make sense. Let's bring in someone who may make it make sense. Slick Rick the Bucher. So, Slick, you more concerned about the Lakers or the Clippers?
You didn't just steal it from Richard. You stole it from me, too. Acho, I love the big board. I mean, I really love, you set that up so well. If I didn't know better, I'd be like, Acho's on it, man.
Exactly.
But here's the reality. And Twitterverse is going to go bananas because they're going to say, oh, Bucher got on the crazy train with Wiley. Can we get him off? What happened to him? But here's the reality is that, Luka Doncic did get his numbers. But how did he get his numbers? By taking logo shots and shot 45% with the logo shots, 10% better than he did during the regular season. The Clippers as a whole are the best three-point shooting team in the league, and yet they lost that battle to the 18th best three-point shooting team in the league. And if you're thinking, well, how is the defense? Maybe the Mavs were a point in that. No, the Clippers are the sixth best team defending the three, and the Mavs are below average in that category as well. Reggie Jackson, who shoots 43% from three, and Marcus Morris, who shoots 47% from three, were a combined 0 for 9, and many of those were uncontested. And yet, in the final 2 minutes of the game, they were still within three, in spite of everything and this lopsided category in which they normally dominate. The game was still there for the taking. Conversely, you had the Los Angeles Lakers, who never got closer than 7 in the entire fourth quarter against a one-armed Chris Paul and a Phoenix Suns team that was trying to close out its first playoff game in 11 years. So I'm not really that worried about either of these teams after game one. But if you're asking me which one, I'm leaning Lakers.
Slick, Sal, let's talk, people, let's talk. Can we not act like we're too old to remember, last year's playoffs when a Luka on one leg and a Kristaps Porzingis who only played 3 games, that same Mavs team took the Clippers to 6 games. Can we not act like we're too old to remember that a Luka that was 1 year prior, so not nearly the same player he was this year, averaged 31, 10, and 9. Slick, Sal, I don't care where Luka took the shots from. All he did in game one was what he always does. Luka averaged over 6 games a year ago, 31, 10, and 9. What did Luka give you just last game? 31, 11, and 10. It's just what Luka does. So I'm not going to sit there and act like it was chance or it was coincidence. It wasn't. It is who Luka is. I'm also going to admit this. The Clippers snuck by the Mavs last year. A Mavs team that they snuck by off a cheap shot. Yeah, I said it, Marcellus. Or a cheap foot, if I can. So the Clippers snuck by the Mavs last year. I don't foresee it happening again, but I'm going to end my take like this.
Strong.
Anthony Davis averages more than 13 points. He averages 25 points. LeBron James averages more than 18 points. He averages 25 points. The Lakers played below their average. Their star players did. That's why they lost. Devin Booker does not average 34 points. He averages around 26. He scored 34 points. DeAndre Ayton doesn't average 16 boards a game and 22 points. He gave you 22 and 16. The Phoenix Suns players played above their average. They're stars. The Lakers played below their average. They lost. The Mavs played at average. The Clippers played average. The Mavericks have beat the Clippers 3 out of the last 4 times in the regular season. The Clippers have lost 7 out of their last 11 games. You don't even have to be a mathematician. You don't have to be Aristotle, Plato, or Socrates to understand the very simple logic I am presenting to you. If the Mavericks play their average against the Clippers, who play their average, the Mavericks will win the game, and it's exactly what we saw game one.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. You are off on this one.
Like Paul George?
Wait a minute, like AD. Shoot, like LeBron.
I ain't that far off. I ain't AD off.
But Paul George had more than LeBron and AD. Hello, they combined for 31. Luka like, I got that by myself. Let's stop with this. Here's the thing. When we talk about averages, here's the problem. We always go into basically a binary conversation. Are you going to be better than that or are you going to be worse than that? In terms of good and bad. So we just get to that place. That's problematic in this conversation. Because the Phoenix Suns players, yeah, you're right. Ayton went out there and put up more than normally Ayton would. Booker put up more than normally Booker would. And they're both great players, but still, we saw more. But, Acho, I got to remind you, you're above your average easier when the other team is average. And here's the thing, the Lakers, in terms of them being compromised, hurt, they kind of average right now. Just be real in terms of roster production. You're not factoring in how compromised this team is. They have not played together at the stretch end of this season, the latter part. They are disjointed. So you keep talking about last year's team. Yeah, the Lakers were the champions last year. This year, they're the play-in champions. That's a whole different animal than what we're seeing from this team in just 1 year. So you talk about the Clippers, just be normal. Just go out there and do what you do. Lakers lose a game by 9 despite getting 16 more free throws and the same amount of turnovers. We all know that the devil's in the details. And if the Lakers are true to themselves and not lying about their efforts, they're going to realize even if we play great, even if we play up to standard, there's still some numbers that support maybe that team can still outplay us.
Acho, to your point, I do remember last year's Clippers team that went to the bubble. I remember Lemon Pepper Lou. Oh, wait a minute. He's not there anymore. I remember Montrezl Harrell, who was woefully out of shape because of his grandmother's death. He's not there anymore. Rajon Rondo. Oh, he is there. I mean, I could go down the line. This is Serge Ibaka. He is there. This is a different Clippers team. And where is it different? In the complementary pieces. And that's the distinction between last year and this year. And that was the difference in game 1, in that the complementary players, you make a great point. Like Luka Doncic basically played the Clippers' 2 stars even up. They all did what they normally do. But you're talking about law of averages, and I just gave you the law of averages for the entire season in terms of what the Clippers do shooting the 3 versus what the Mavs do, and you're saying that the law of averages held up. No, it didn't, and yes, it will eventually.
No,
so
sir.
That's where it falls apart.
I got to check you. Ball in. Check up. I got to check you, Slick, because you talk about all these complimentary players, but you have to understand, coming from someone who is single, sometimes compliments are not enough.
What?
Slick. Because Rajon Rondo, he went 3 for 4 from the three-point line, big dog, and that's better than he gonna go. And he gave you 11 points, which is better than he's typically gonna give you. That compliment, it wasn't enough. Serge Ibaka, he went 4 for 4 from the stripe. He gave you his 8 points. That's solid. Compliment, big dog, wasn't enough. Reggie Jackson was plus 13, his plus or minus when he was on the court.
Oh, you are cherry-picking numbers now, brother. You are just going, oh, this one looks good, and this one looks good. No.
What is this, Slick? Them cats, the bench gave you, math real quick, that's 10. The bench gave you 33 points. Clippers bench gave you 33 points. That's solid. That's strong. So you can talk about all these complimentary players, big dog, but sometimes, Slick, I'm going to tell you, and I've been there, compliments, they ain't enough now. Go ahead.
Look, the one other element, and I can't fight when you're just going here and here and here and here. Because the bottom line is collectively, the Clippers they shot the 3 terribly. They didn't shoot it anywhere close. I mean, it was like 27%. They shot over 40% as a team for the season. And the Mavs were at the other end of the spectrum.
Thank you.
So however you want to pick, that element of the game did not show up for the Clippers. And it consistently has all year long, and I would expect it will again in this series. They also, look, they played slow. They played methodically, in large part because they looked at the ancillary players that they have. They look at the matchups they have, and every one of them, they go, well, we got that one. Oh, we got that one. They need to play faster, and I'm sure that they will in this next game. You also, Kawhi Leonard didn't guard Luka Doncic. Take your best player. You don't come with your best punch in the first game.
Thank you.
Take Kawhi Leonard, put him on Luka Doncic. I guarantee you things are going to be more difficult. But here's the other part, going to the other side of the equation with the Lakers. We've now seen LeBron James in 2 playoff intensity games. And in both, he's come out banged up and hurt at some point. This is the once-upon-a-time indestructible transformer. And if their offense is going to get back to championship-caliber offense, then he is going to have to be healthy and to be able to be the aggressive LeBron that we've seen in the past. And right now, I'm a little worried because I've only seen 2 games. He hasn't come out of either one healthy and hasn't been aggressive for the most part in both of them.
Exactly. To your point, Slick Rick, I respect your acumen and everything you've said. You've been dared on. To Kenny Smith's point on TNT when he said, hey, after the Lakers won the play-in championship and tournament, he said, if they play like that again against Phoenix, they're going to lose. And then he came and doubled down on it after the loss, said, I told you guys, this team is not playing of high standard right now. It's just that simple. So, wait a minute. Slick Rick the Bucher, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Richard Jefferson, whose take I took, all say that, look, these Lakers are in trouble. But Acho is the one holding up the fort, holding up the fact that the Lakers are going to be fine. Let me give you this last nugget to prove it
well,
and drive it home. Acho. Best three-point shooting team in the NBA, Slick Rick said it 17 times. I'm going to say it the 18th. The Clippers. The last team to shoot the three ball better than the Clippers, 73 win Golden State. Okay, could they shoot? Yeah. If they had an off night, would they return? Would they rebound? Yes. Dallas, duh. Clippers about to shoot y'all lights out from three. Coming up, Tim Tebow is back in the NFL. But we'll tell you why the Jaguars signed the former quarterback next. Don't speak for yourself. Slicky Ricky.
The Jaguars officially signed Tim Tebow to a one-year deal a few days ago to play tight end. But a report says people around the NFL do not expect the former quarterback to actually make the roster and think the move was made for publicity. So, Sel, I haven't gotten to chop it up with you about this topic, so let's go there. Why did the Jags sign Tim Tebow?
Because he could contribute to their team, not only winning on the field, but winning off the field in terms of culture and winning mindset. Simple. But I know it ain't going to be that simple with you because it's not that simple with everybody in my group text, on social media, and even when some people walk up to me, hey, why you like Tim Tebow so much? I'm like, why don't you like Tim Tebow so much? Here's the thing. Let's talk about it. Let's start at the top. A place we have never been in, but we also are familiar with. The owner's box. If you own the Jacksonville Jaguars, would you have Tim Tebow on your team? You probably want to just blurt out no. And then I'm going to say, remember, NFL's a business. Can we talk about the business of football? Can I remind y'all who Tim Tebow is competing against, since everybody want to start talking about how sorry he may be at a position he never played? Tyler Davis, I love you, big dog, second year from Georgia Tech. Did you know his name, everybody? Ben Effelson, second year from North Dakota State. A rookie from Ohio State, Luke Farrell. 6th year out of Canisius College, converted hooper, didn't even play football in college. Uh-oh, here we go again. Privilege. Chris Manhurst. James O'Shaughnessy, 7th year out of Illinois State. And Tim Tebow. Boy, stop. At minimum, he gonna make special teams. He's your R5. At minimum, they gonna say, put your head between your legs and snap the ball 15 yards back and be our long snapper. But at maximum, he's gonna contribute to this tight end room that it sounds like a couple blockers and a guy who had no catches and one guy who had one catch. Tim Tebow gonna beat out some of them dudes, if not all them dudes. More importantly, the assets he brings to the table beyond just performance. I played in Jacksonville my last 2 years. Shout out to my boy Marcus Stroud, who I finally caught up with on the phone this weekend. We chopped it up about an hour about game. And we were laughing because Marcus Stroud was here and I was here. But the only reason we were on the same roster and I was in the same meeting room with him is because of veteran presence, because I contributed to a winning culture. And we were cracking up because I didn't belong on that field. I didn't belong on that team. He couldn't believe that I was the same guy that he grew up watching and loving. He's like, what happened to you, Wiley? Point being, stop looking at this through such a narrow vacuum. Tim Tebow is going to beat out this tight end room. Tim Tebow is going to contribute in many ways and rig the math in terms of a throwing tight end, a throwing heavy formation set. Tim Tebow's going to rig the math. He's going to rig the culture. He's going to rig the box office. He's going to sell out the stadium, and he's going to sell the jerseys. Man, this makes so much sense. I'm over here.
The thing about your boy is, even when I'm on vacation, I'm not on vacation.
Oh, you're working.
When I'm on vacation, I'm working. I'm sharpening the mind. I'm sharpening the spirit. I'm sharpening it all. I'm going to give you 2 words. Primacy, recency. Those are the 2 things that dictate our memory. Tim Tebow is on the Jacksonville Jaguars roster because of primacy. When you think about memory, you remember the thing that came first or you remember the thing that came most recently. Urban Meyer's first big-time head coaching job was with the Florida Gators. And what came first? In his big-time first head coaching job with the Florida Gators, a man by the name of Tim Tebow, who helped him win a national championship even as a freshman when Chris Leak was on the roster. Urban Meyer remembers Tim Tebow due to primacy. However, the rest of the world, we all remember Tim Tebow due to recency. What we most recently saw. In the Jets, he was no good. New England, he was no good.
Oh, stop.
When I was with him in Philadelphia, he was no good. So he is on the roster because of primacy, how Urban Meyer remembers him and remembers him first. But let me get to some other layers. Because of all the national analysts currently analyzing nationally, your boy actually played for a college head coach who went to the NFL in Chip Kelly. And your boy also played with Tim Tebow the last time Tim Tebow played. So of all the national analysts analyzing this topic nationally, your boy is actually the one who's qualified to speak on the matter. So let's talk.
Ooh, speak for yourself.
It was a preseason game. We're with Chip Kelly. It's me, maybe Casey Matthews, younger brother of Clay Matthews. He played linebacker. He went to Oregon. Kenyon Barner. We're all sitting at the bar with Chip Kelly. And it's Chip's former Oregon players and it's me, and we're all talking, and we're like, hey, Chip, who was the greatest college football player you've ever seen or ever coached? I'd ask y'all to take a guess, but y'all will never get this name right. He says Dennis Dixon. Dennis Dixon, quarterback at Oregon. Now, Dennis Dixon was a dude. You want to know who the second person Chip Kelly signed as soon as he got to Philadelphia was? It was Dennis Dixon, 2013. Now, Dennis Dixon had not completed a NFL pass since 2010. But Chip Kelly signed Dennis Dixon. Why? Because Chip Kelly still had the memory of Dennis Dixon's greatness. Why did Urban Meyer sign Tim Tebow? Because Urban Meyer still had the memory of Tim Tebow's greatness. If you were to ask Urban Meyer, hey, Urban, who was the best player you've ever seen or coached? He'd probably say Tim Tebow, just like Chip Kelly said Dennis Dixon. Well,
wow.
Sal, you gave your take, I gave my take. Let's bring in NFL analyst, my dog, Bucky Brooks. Buck, you give your take. Why did the Jaguars sign Tim Tebow?
Well, let me unpack all the many things that you just unleashed on us right then. I got primacy, I got recency, I got all of these takes and memory.
You got Hennessy?
And so, I got so much stuff. And so you gave an example of Dennis Dixon and Chip Kelly. But how about I give you a more recent example? And let's go to the hardwood since you guys have been talking about the NBA. Tom Thibodeau knows Derrick Rose because of the Chicago Bulls. And Derrick Rose then bounced around a little bit, but lo and behold, he makes his way back to the Knicks. And what do the Knicks do? They finish fourth. They go to the playoffs because Tom Thibodeau knows if I bring Derrick Rose, he's going to help foster the culture that I want. Now, I'm not going to say that Tim Tebow is Derrick Rose because what we saw from Derrick Rose was a baller. But I'm saying if you're thinking about primacy and recency, it doesn't mean that it can't work. But let's think about Tim Tebow and what he's been asked to do in Jacksonville. He's not playing quarterback. He's playing a new position. But the position that he's playing, I would say it is the easiest position for anyone to come off the couch to playing in the National Football League.
Facts.
And I'm not being disrespectful, but let's just think about some of these things.
Facts.
Easily we think about Antonio Gates. And Antonio Gates is going to be a Hall of Famer, a guy who didn't play football in college. But let me give you some more names there, Acho. How about Mo Alley Cox? Mo Alley Cox, who played forward on Virginia Commonwealth team, didn't even think about playing football. A scout saw him and walked past him and said, I think you should play football. Lo and behold, is playing for the Indianapolis Colts. But let me give you another guy. How about Darren Fells, who is in the National Football League playing for the Houston Texans? Darren Fells played basketball at UC Irvine. Darren Fells went and played basketball overseas for years. Then decided, you know what I want to do? I want to play football. He finds his way into the league. He has 17 touchdowns. So we can sit here and talk
more of this.
You better.
I can't listen anymore.
Kill him, Bucky. Kill him softly.
Of all the positions, you can go from the couch to being a baller.
Hell yeah.
And Tebow could be the next example.
Number one, I'm not going to let you all disrespect the tight end.
No, we ain't got to
That's the
disrespect
first
them.
thing
They
I'm
do
gonna
it
do.
themselves. themselves.
That's the first
They
thing
doing it to
The
themselves.
first thing I'm not going to do, because you could ask, George Kittle was on this show just 3 weeks ago and mentioned how tight end is actually one of the hardest positions because you both have to be a capable blocker and a capable
What are you supposed
receiver.
to say?
So I'm not going to let y'all disrespect the tight end position.
Stop it.
But number 2, Bucky, let's go in. I'll take this calmly because you all two are reasonable, rational individuals. So if I talk to y'all reasonably and rationally, you'll be able to rationally reason. The limiting reactant then, Bucky, is at least athletic qualifications. At least, I'll concede, Bucky, I promise you, let's do this. I will concede then that tight end is easy to play. For the sake of this conversation, I will concede that tight end is the easiest to go from the couch to the tight end position. I'll give you that for the sake of this conversation. Antonio Gates, 6'6", 6'7". Darren Fells, 6'7". Mo Alley Cox, I just checked, 6'6", 267.
How tall you say Gates was again?
Was he 6'6"?
Hell no, Gates shorter than me. Gates,
I don't know. I'm just saying listed as 6'5".
Gates ain't my height.
George Kittle, 6'6". Zach Ertz, 6'5". Travis Kelce, 6'5". Darren Waller, 6'5". So I will concede to you. Let's just say playing tight end is easy. I'll give you that. But can we at least then say the limiting reactant of being a good to great tight end in the National Football League is at least a height and athleticism barrier. A height and athleticism barrier and threshold that Tim Tebow does not traverse. How do I know that? Because I actually played with the man. And unless he has gotten more athletic in the last 5 and 6 years, unless he has gotten more swift hips, unless he has gotten taller and faster in the last 6 years, that I am literally telling y'all from someone who had limited coverage ability like myself, that Tim Tebow at this tight end position is a far cry from athleticism. Can he help the Jacksonville Jaguars emotionally? Can he help them from a leadership perspective? Yes. But let's not disrespect the tight end position.
I will.
And let's not disrespect athletes by claiming Tim Tebow can fit right in.
Oh, man, stop that, man. You know me, facts over feelings. I don't give a damn what position you out there playing. Let me tell you this, because Acho moved the goalposts on y'all. He moved the goalposts. We went from signing Tim Tebow, which means just be greater than the worst player in your position.
Correct.
Be better than the worst one there. To all of a sudden, all-time greats, 6'6", 6'7" dudes, good to great. Why you move the goalposts?
I didn't.
All he need to do is just be on the squad, bro. All them dudes ain't good. They even have a former basketball player who didn't play football in college on their roster, Chris Manhertz. So they're telling you right now that every single failed basketball player that I've ever met, before they want to work at FedEx, which they don't want to, and go to the gym for 25 hours a day, which they don't want to, they always look at the sport of football and say, I could play tight end, can I? Can I get a tryout? Failed basketball players know it's an easy conversion to being a potential tight end in the NFL. Stop moving the goalposts right there. Let me tell you what this is really about. This is about him, Tim Tebow, easily being a part of their culture, a part of the building blocks, something you can digest. Acho, you just took a thirst trap picture when you were on vacation. You know why? Because you are in shape, you look great, you're still single, super single, actually, ladies. DM me, I'll tell you the truth about this. And more than that, dog, you work out, you work hard. You about that life, bro. But I know one thing, because I lost like 50, 60 pounds because your butt came up here. I said, you shaming me every day looking too fat. So I lost a lot of weight. And I'm reading diet book after diet book. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And they all say the same thing. When you're eating stuff, know how to pronounce what you're eating. More importantly, know what you're eating, right? So the first line of ingredients is easy for all of us. That second and third line, like any NFL team, behind the starters is some dudes. You're like, what? Acho. Sodium bisulfate. Anybody? Potassium sorbate. Oh, let me convert that to the Jaguar roster. Chris Manhertz. James O'Shaughnessy. You can't win with that going in your body on your team. Tim Tebow, first line. Easy to say, easy to digest. Coming up, 2 high school stars are skipping their senior seasons. He mad at me. To focus on sports. We'll tell you if we have a problem with this next. So speak for yourself. I see you, Jags, getting lean. There's potentially a new trend in high school sports. One of the top running backs in the 2022 class, Jaden Blue, will sit out his senior season to prepare for college. Blue said the wear and tear at the position is undeniable. In basketball, 5-star junior recruit Sterling Scoot Henderson has signed with the NBA's G League Ignite program, but will not be eligible for the 2022 NBA draft because of his age. Bucky is back, but Acho, you have a problem with high school stars skipping senior seasons to focus on sports?
I do, Sal, but here's why. It's like, I remember I was a sophomore in high school, and this dude named Kalen Thornton, he played football at Texas and went on to play for the Cowboys. His dad played for the Cowboys.
I played with Kalen.
Did you?
Yeah, he was better than me.
So he came and he said, enjoy high school because it's the last time you actually get to play the game for fun. By the time you go on to big-time college programs, it's all a business. I didn't realize that. Come on, you just an old head talking. You don't know what you're talking about. Then I got to Texas and I realized as soon as you step foot on a big-time college program and that big-time college campus, you're worried about going to the league. And then as soon as you get to the league, it is nothing but cutthroat. So for me, for that reason, I do have a problem with it because when I talk about this high school running back who's skipping his senior season to just get ready to go to my alma mater in Texas, I'm like, big dog, the only way to get better at playing football is by playing football. There is truly no way to simulate the running back position. You can do all the drills with cones and bags and performance coaches. Nah, the only way to get better at that sport is by actually playing that sport. I understand you got hurt when you were in 7th grade. You got hurt when in 8th grade, dislocated the same knee. I get all that. But if you really want to get better at playing ball, then you got to play ball. Let's not focus on the end goal and forego the process. And the process is truly that high school grind until you get out of it. Now, for the basketball player, completely different. If you want to forego your senior year to go get $1 million in the G League, I can understand that one. I'll talk about that one more later.
No, like Acho, I think what you bring about is you point out two distinct differences. One, football is a rep sport where you got to play football to get better at football. And even though we can talk about the injury history and risk, you have to play to get better at it. And so for Jalen Blue, who is going from high school to college with hopes of being able to be an NFL player, we don't even know, even if you are healthy and you go to college, we still don't know if it's a guarantee that you're going to make it to the NFL. The basketball situation is different because these guys are bypassing high school, but they're still going to a developmental league to go play and work on their skills. We've seen other guys go overseas and play. We've seen, look, even Luka Doncic, who we adore as a basketball player, he was playing pro basketball as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, but he was still playing. What is different about these scenarios, you have one set of guys that are going to play for pay. You have another set that is going to work out in hopes of being a better player. The basketball guys have a better path than the football guys.
Man, I have such a problem with this because I'm in here battling, like trying to protect great players and their ability and free enterprise to make their money. But also, are we creating great men? Like the average for both sports is 3 years, if you make it. So I just don't know what's going to happen if these guys don't make it, or even if they do make it, they're just average, which is still great by most standards. So look, I feel like I'm yelling at myself, like, get off my own lawn. Like, what the hell are you talking about? There's an old school version of me that's battling with this new school wave. And it's funny because Nick Saban predicted this 4 years ago. Nick Saban said, yeah, y'all go and make the signing day before the season, see what happens. Kids going to say you're going to go to this school and then I'm not playing my senior year. And the high school coach will go nuts, quote, unquote. So I'm a little scared. Are we creating the child actor stereotype here? Like, you know how child actors are, you know? They pop really early and really fast, and then all of a sudden the whole world caves to whatever they desire. But as I have 4 kids, I understand that I got to tell them to eat their vegetables. I got to force them to eat their vegetables. Finish high school, because I say it like this, and I'm going to keep it 1,000. I don't know a single soul in this world that hasn't graduated high school that I want around my kids unsupervised. I'm going to say it again. I don't know a single soul that has not graduated high school that is going to be around my kids unsupervised, because you got to be bigger than just a game. You got to be more than just a player out there. Now, I battle that with, I did go to Columbia University. Now, this is college, but still, Lauryn Hill was a classmate of mine. So I'm watching Lauryn Hill be in class one day, gone for 2 months, come back to class. Marcellus, you still here? I'm saying, you ain't, because she's got filming movies, making albums, touring the world, and coming back like pianists can, like anybody can, in every other profession except football and basketball. Even baseball players like, man, forget college. I ain't doing all that. So the point of it all is there is a give and there's a take. I'm just scared that these guys are creating monsters out of themselves. Like, they're going to feed themselves to the machine prematurely. My mama didn't even get on the airplane until I was a professional athlete. So if you're 17 and all of a sudden you're looked at as a professional, who's your circle of concern and influence? And in terms of character and real world experiences, how are they going to really supervise and help you grow? Think about it. We know the piranha are going to come. Financial advisors, business managers, and they're going to eat off these kids because these kids are not even adults just yet. Oh, man, I'm just torn on this one. I guess I will get off my own lawn. We'll see. Coming up, is Aaron Rodgers worth 3 first-round picks? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. You let your son do it, Acho?
Aaron Rodgers was not at Lambeau Field for the start of OTAs today, according to reports. That's because he was where I was, Hawaii. This adds to trade rumors that could include 3 first-round picks for the reigning MVP, but Yahoo talked to execs, and one said that's not realistic, while another said he's, quote, not putting 3 firsts and probably more toward a 37-year-old quarterback and expect him to do what Tom Brady did in Tampa. So, Marcellus, is Aaron Rodgers worth 3 first-round picks?
No, I don't think any quarterback, I don't think any player is. Being real, I mean, you got to dive into the history books, and then even when you dive into it, you see Herschel Walker jumps out in terms of that. But the details of that are just too damn convoluted to even talk about. Like, was it really 3 firsts?
It was complex.
Like, what the hell? Did y'all give up 3 firsts or not? So the point is, we know it didn't work in terms of Herschel Walker. So would it work in terms of Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. I think this is just too narrow of a landing strip to park this plane. Aaron Rodgers at his age, Aaron Rodgers with his temperament, Aaron Rodgers with his demands, and Aaron Rodgers is great. I think you should stay still. Top 5 running back, top 5 wide receiver, good enough defense. Just get over the hump. They're not helping them. They're not properly giving them the resources. But where in the hell are you going to go? And then if you go somewhere and they had to give up 3 first-rounders, are they thinking straight? Because I just don't see that making sense. So, nah, I'm sorry. Too steep a price.
So I think he is. And he is because this. What's the point of a first-rounder? You don't want a first-round pick to have a first-round pick. The point of drafting a first-round pick is to win a chip. Like, we get so caught up in like, man, I got to get me a first-round pick. For what? You got a first-round pick to win a chip. So if I can manipulate that first-round pick to still get towards my goal of winning a chip, then yes, Aaron Rodgers is worth 3 first-rounders. I look at it like this.
Where?
Robert Griffin was worth 2 firsts and a second. Trey Lance was worth 3 firsts or 2 firsts and a swapped first. Jared Goff, first and some change. Khalil Mack, 2 firsts. Jalen Ramsey, 2 firsts. All these dudes have been worth 2 firsts. Aaron Rodgers is better than all of these dudes. Aaron Rodgers can actually get you to or closer to winning a Super Bowl. Chicago Bears traded for Khalil Mack. They went 12-4 that year, had the number 1 defense, went to the playoffs. Did okay.
Okay.
Jalen Ramsey. He's balling right now. He's doing great.
Give me some ribs.
But the Rams aren't necessarily won a Super Bowl without Ramsey. Rams just traded 2 firsts for Matthew Stafford in hopes of winning a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has 5 to 6 good years left. If you can get 5 to 6 good years, mind you, Trey Lance, rookie contract, 5 years. If they pick up the 5th-year option, he was worth 3 firsts. If you can get 5 years out of a quarterback, and you're talking about out of a Hall of Fame quarterback, yeah, he worth the 3 firsts, sir.
I'll bring it down a notch just to make this a good argument because you can't win at 3 firsts. 2 firsts, like you said.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
let's talk about the people who did it. Jim Everett back in the day. Oh, you too damn young. Won NFC championship game. That ain't work. Trey Lance, we all know. Jury's out. RG3, never won a playoff game with him. Jeff George, never won a playoff game with him. Jay Cutler, won 1 playoff game. Khalil Mack, not won a playoff game with him. Jalen Ramsey won 1 playoff game with him. Jamal Adams, they won the NFC West but lost a wild card game. Matthew Stafford, jury's out again. I said it. Damn it! Dog, my wife loves a lot of purses. How much, baby? How much? That's what I say. You can have anything you want.
Isn't Aaron Rodgers better than all those dudes?
Hell yeah, so he'll win 1 playoff game. That's what it sounds like. Maybe 2, but not at all. You better stay in Green Bay. Coming up, was Chris Paul's box out on LeBron in Game 1 dirty? We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. It's too steep, bro. Birkin back. The Suns beat the Lakers Sunday, and there was some controversy along the way. Chris Paul boxed out LeBron James in the 4th quarter. Yeah, homeboy. Injuring his shoulder. Frank Vogel called it a, quote, overly aggressive box out. A dangerous play. CP3 responded, telling our own Chris Haynes, quote, I have absolutely nothing to say about that. We're just playing basketball and competing. Spicy. Acho, was Chris Paul's box out on LeBron dirty?
It was, but it was like subconsciously dirty. First off, let's correct this.
Yeah.
The box out was not dirty. Chris Paul's listed at 6'1", LeBron is listed at 6'8", 250. We've known from the beginning of time, low man does what?
Wins.
Low man wins. So at the end of the day, it's a dog-eat-dog world. What Lil Wayne say? I told a judge I couldn't budge. It was him or me. Chris Paul looking like, look, if it's not LeBron, it's me. So if low man wins, I'm going to get low. Yeah. I'm going to box you out. Nothing is dirty about Chris Paul's box out at all whatsoever. LeBron shouldn't have jumped. That would be my defense. Now,
jumped.
What is dirty? If you actually look at the box out and what did LeBron actually hurt? His arm. Can we look at the tape, please? You know, you got to be the jury. Roll the tape. Now, can we take a screen grab of what actually occurred during the course of the box out? It wasn't the box out that hurt.
Yeah, right there.
It was right there, the arm bar. Chris Paul, what you grabbing for? And what you grabbing and tugging for? Now, if you're all going to say it's just incidental contact, elite athletes have elite control of their elite bodies. And elite athletes will always have elite control of their elite bodies because that is what makes them elite. So just like last year I said that Morris did not coincidentally step his foot under Luka's foot because you know exactly where your body is in spatial awareness at all times. Chris Paul knows exactly where his body is and where exactly LeBron's body is. Do I think it was intentionally malicious? Like, oh, I'm better to go out there and hurt LeBron? No.
Yeah.
But I think high-level athletes compete at a high level, and in that moment, it was a dirty arm grab. But the box out, to me, completely clean.
I'm with you right there. There are degrees in terms of how egregious things may be. That's why there's murder degrees and manslaughter, different degrees. They both dead, but it's different intentions in terms of the consequences and reaction. Accidents happen in sports, but purposeful accidents happen even more. Let me talk about a purposeful accident. Y'all don't know about these. Ask Montrezl Harrell yesterday when he ran up on campaign to speed up the slow down play. That's that fake ooh, I used to love to do that. Like, oh, my bad, homie. Yeah, you do that. That's on purpose. Accidentally. And that's what happened. Like Chris Paul went primal. He snapped. He went back to, oh, I forgot. You're
my dog.
My dog.
Like, we really
banana boat.
Yeah, but exactly.
But, hey. Primal sense. I'm trying to win this damn game. So you said it best. The game happens in micro frames. As a professional athlete, no other group walking this planet has more body control and awareness and vision than a professional athlete. Everything happens in milliseconds, like frame. Man, I could do anything in this small space. And then now, Chris Paul, 6 feet, 185, future Hall of Famer, great. Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. Maybe not with the most egregious intent, but certainly with a little spice on that sandwich. Coming up, Tom Brady won Super Bowl MVP at 43 years old. We'll tell you if that was more impressive than what 50-year-old Phil Mickelson did Sunday. Lefty! Next on Speak for Your Shield.
Now, Phil Mickelson brushed off Father Time Sunday at the PGA Championship, becoming the oldest person to win a major. Mickelson is 50, while his former charity golf partner Tom Brady won Super Bowl MVP a few months ago at 43 years of age. So, Marcellus, what was more impressive, the 50-year-old Mickelson's win or the 43-year-old Tom Brady's Super Bowl win?
It's 43-year-old Tom Brady. Look, I wanted to give it to Phil because he's 50, he's older, and that's my first sport in playing golf when I was 6 years young. But I came up with an age-ability quotient. And basically, this tells you how much of the potential road travel, Columbia's coming out of me, that each athlete just traveled in terms of success. Tom Brady at 43 years old, and the oldest football player ever, 48 years old, George Blanda. Phil Mickelson is 50 years old, but guess what the oldest golfer is? Man, hell, Irwin is 76 years old, tilting out there. Hey, help me to the 18th hole. So guess what? There's still 26 more years going forward. 65% of the road traveled if you're him. And it's not the same for Tom Brady, so Tom Brady's more impressive. Catch that? No?
What you want me to do, Sal?
Say something.
No.
No? Why? Why? I nerded you on one take finally, and now you speechless?
Quotient.
That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. I did hog all the time. I'm sorry.